Welcome, Collective. This is Regina from Pacific Tarot, getting ready to do a collective reading for you. I am allowing the cards to guide me through this one, and I've used the Energy Archaeology deck to get us started. So I first pulled the Capacity card, and this, pulling away from the specific bones it represents, this is the thoracic spine. However, and talking more generally about what capacity means in this sense, and it is about how you are creating through healing and integrating. So, this is by creating the space for who you are and who you're becoming. And if this sounds like a difficult peer process, it may well be. It may feel very hard. It may feel very raw in the process of increasingly exposing old wounds and exposing what's underneath, which is quite likely very tender energy, still untested, unsure of itself, unsure of its place in the world or how the world will interact with new aspects of yourself, new energies that you are experiencing that are not familiar to you, how to show up in a way that is still coming into being known to you. So this card asks you in many ways to open up all the spaces that are restricted and closed, a tall order indeed. It's difficult to be aware of our limitations and to release them easily. As one who works at it all the time, it is incredibly challenging to truly relax into those spaces where we've built up so much information about what should be, how things should occur, what we expect. And so this is about scouring away all that hardness within you and nurturing the tender growth, the gentle growth, the unfamiliar growth, experiencing that newness, that freshness, still protecting yourself in a reasonable way. And so I pulled for, this is describing your present energy. And I pulled from the 5-cent tarot the 5 of buttons, which is the 5 of pentacles. And these are really sweet because they give lots of keywords on them. And the principal keyword that jumps out is hardship. And I think that is quite clear when we are healing. We're facing quite often what has been difficult, what has been challenging for us in a way that we have gained the courage to take responsibility for that hardship, recognizing we've had a role in either choosing something that we already know is going to turn out a certain way that's not going to be satisfying to us, or we are in a place of resisting a pattern that we understand to be limiting. And this particularly, we typically think of this in terms of loss, limitation, lack, poverty, isolation. And so worrying about things that one may not be able to control or about things that haven't even occurred. So the amount of energy and expenditure of energy that drains you for no real good, valid reason. But also the flip side of this talks about recovery. And that can have to do with charity, right? Being grateful for what you do have, even if there are limitations in your life, and sharing what you have with others, being of service to others who don't have what you have. So it's sort of grasping the relativity of lack and abundance, and the mindset that underscores that. Also, sanctuary, right? We take solace in what we have, what we're grateful for, the joys in our life. So this is really beautiful energy that is describing what is occurring for many of you right now. The idea of a kind of tough love towards self, right? Recognizing that you are in control of your experience to the extent that you can control your own resources. You can determine the quality of your reality. And I think quality is an important word here. I will clarify these shortly, but in the past, we have the pulse from Energy Tarot, and I'm going to take a few words from the guidebook for this beautiful card that talks about giving and receiving, the way energy comes through our hands and our arms. So pulse describes your unique timing and the way that's synthesized by your own energetic pulse and the way you meet that energy and pulse of the universe, right? There's more integration here. Giving and receiving, ideally in equal and sustainable measure, the universe is giving to and receiving from you. When you don't trust the pulse of your life to communicate with the world around you, you disconnect from that universe, finding cues instead in the three-dimensional world, finding fake or synthetic replacements for something true and deeper. And by true and deeper, that is about you, what is authentic to you. If you trust in the pulse of your life, you'll feel in harmony with the opportunities that it is bringing to you. And what you need for your next step will always be waiting for you. I think this is a synchronicity energy. I like this very much. And this is clarified by the 9 of matches or the 9 of wands, right? And what comes to mind is this sense of throwing yourself wholeheartedly into an experience that you want to achieve, you want to master. But many times we already have a fixed idea of what that mastery, what that achievement should look like, will look like. And we're actually resisting information from our environment, even from ourselves at times. Yes, we're determined. Yes, we want to follow through, complete, close out, have a victory. But it's also recognizing that what is of value here is your resilience, the way that you get up to approach a challenge again and again. And that really is synchronized with even the image on the Rider-Waite deck of the battered and wounded soldier who is standing guard, who is distrustful because of the wounding already sustained. So it's really putting a focus, yes, yet less on achieving a goal and more on your determination and your resilience to achieve that, the strong will, the struggle, the resistance to what can be the true reward or the silver lining or the true gold value of an experience that we are determined to conquer. And how do we evaluate that achievement if we're not allowing ourselves to be less resistant, to be persistent, taking in the information we gain along the way? So that is some of what has been leading you to this opportunity for this much deeper, greater healing and recovery that you may be experiencing now. In the future, we have vulnerability, And again, I'm going to take a few guide words from the book. These are cards, with the exception of capacity, that I don't often get. So vulnerability is called strength and weakness, and it's neither. It's simply a state of being, a way of meeting the world and other people without protection and armor, without hiding and manipulating, without having to cut yourself open and bleed your truth for all to see. I like that image because it speaks to a performance of vulnerability and openness that is performative or can appear to be performative and really lose the essence of really sharing our deeper experience, our deeper wisdom or knowledge. You have the ability to create a world within worlds where you can lie down with your body and practice softness, first with yourself, then flowing out to the world around you. Vulnerability is softness. It's your humanity. But it is a gift that you must first give to yourself. This seems key to some of the opening that the healing is accomplishing. This willingness to recognize the ways in which you are releasing that hardening in your life and the ways in which you are opening up to be more authentic, softer, less hard, less fixed, and more becoming, more about learning and open to the information that the world is giving back to you through your actions. And this is clarified by the Knight of Cups. How very perfect. I think of the Knight of Cups as one on the road to challenging the assumptions and expectations of your past, right? Victory looks like this. Success looks like this. And I'm going to do everything in my power. I'm going to struggle as hard as I can to achieve that. And instead, the Knight of Cups begins to realize through the healing process that success is a journey. It's a road. It's an act of heart opening. And that is a difficult act to pull off when one has experienced loss and hardship and worry and concern and isolation, right? The Knight of Cups can be certainly the charmer, the one who everyone wants to talk to, and the one who is giving advice, is romantic, is idealistic, has a soft heart, can pull from their own authentic experiences, stories of loss that have declared an allegiance with love, not wanting to change after a lot of loss, of course, in hindsight, not wanting to ever change the desire to move towards love, towards the ideal, towards the beautiful dream, right? And what is challenging about that positionality is the idea that it can be a heartbreaker, right? Someone who lures you in with just what you want to hear and then is gone, is absent, leaves you behind. This is also about the kind of jealousy that you can attract when you're able to be vulnerable, open, and resilient in many ways, taking in the information that you are receiving from the universe to soften you, to challenge what you thought it was going to be. So I like this because the Knight of Cups talks about even still, beyond the loss and the separation, the isolation, the difficulty, the struggle, we still choose to pursue our heart's desire. We still to pursue the thing that makes us, resonates with our hearts, what defines us, what lifts us, gives us hope, encourages us to dream, to pursue our potential. I pulled an oracle card, and the card is blame. I accept responsibility for my well-being, and I do think this is a fair summary of where we are here. We're on a road to achievement, and what we encounter along the way requires us to adjust, to integrate, to look within for our part of the difficulties we experience, and to nevertheless to continue to keep pursuing what feels authentic, what feels creative, imaginative, our dreams, what is a vision of a better life, better love. That's Luther Vandross, for those of you that are curious. And I did pull an outcome card, and I will look at this. This is the Eight of Cups. Interesting. The Eight of Cups traditionally is really that place where you have gathered up the strength of your relationships, your connections, the lessons of those connections, and you recognize that all that you can learn has been learned through your external journey, through these relationships and exchanges. And now we're to a place where we have the courage to pursue what has real meaning for us, our dreams, the things that define us, whatever they are. So the Eight of Cups already is preceded by a lot of introspection, a lot of walking away. And this can negatively, of course, be, as the card indicates, avoidance, right? I really don't want to deal with my family anymore because I'm not sure if they can be trusted. I'm not sure if they want the best for me, as if they need to know what's best for you. That's your job. So that's an example of the ways that we escape. We don't want to deal with our purpose, our mission, why we're here. We just want to forget about it all. We want to escape, perhaps because of the relationships and exchanges we've engaged in. There is a fear of loss, as we've experienced already so much of. But I do think that this card is about really pursuing that journey of greater significance, greater value in your life, greater purpose to your efforts, your service, what you can ultimately contribute to the social body, to your family, to your communities. I am going to clarify these cards. I'm going to start with capacity, and I think I'm just going to pull a card for, let me start with the past, the present, and for the future, I have death. And for the outcome, let's pull a card for that. And what flipped over was the Nine of Swords, but what I turned over was the Four of Cups. So let's take both of those. Okay, so let's start with the past, the Eight of Wands. Wow. Whatever this achievement you are pursuing right now, there's been a big buildup. You may have had many experiences leading you on this path. This may undoubtedly is a path of your own uh, desire, your own authenticity, the true you, something that calls all your strength forward in each and every moment to defend what you have, to move forward regardless of the opposition. And here it looks like things are moving quickly. You have been receiving invitations, you've been pursuing new connections, new opportunities, and you have the opportunity to join in with others who are aligned with you in some way that is important, that is significant. And I do believe at this particular moment with Uranus in Gemini, I believe it's retrograding. This card is standing in to me for the current moment of Uranus's placement for the globe, for us as individuals. This is where we are encountering the technological advances in the way that we communicate, the way that we desire change, the way that we can impact change. So this is interesting because it's actually describing your healing process and your fortitude in making changes to your lifestyle, because this isn't just about our healing and our growth. This is about the way it translates into the 3D world. And that 3D world is requiring, we're asking it to change, to open up, to alter our pathway, perhaps, to provide alternatives to the ways in which we have moved in the past. And the Wheel of Fortune is here to tell you there are innumerable ways. There have already been changes in our institutions, in organizations, in ways that may or may not be working for us. And it is our job to amend those, to redirect those in a way that has the impact that is uplifting for all of us, that provides greater opportunities for all of us, which is much of the promise of enhanced communication, world dreaming, global abundance. These are not pipe dreams. These are things that are certifiably possible. We do know that there is enough for everyone throughout the world. We also know there is a violent abuse of power and distribution of that wealth that turns everything on its head so that most live without the bare necessities and a few live with lifetimes and centuries of wealth at their disposal. So in the future, we have the Death card, and this is describing vulnerability. And I think this is describing our satisfaction with the superficial aspects of desire, right? We want things. We are taught to escape in the luxury or convenience of things that we may or may not need or really want, but we're told we want them. We're told that these are the things that picture abundance, luxury, success, wealth, happiness, beauty, and yet we are coming, hopefully, to understand that many of those things are irrelevant to a healthy, abundant lifestyle existence, really. Where is the charity? Where is the love? Where is the belief? Where is the dream? It's not on YouTube. If you catch my meaning, I'm talking in general about the way the media defines for us and feeds us with dreams of consumption, impossible consumption that are over the top. The pursuing or following the lives of celebrities, people with whom most of us have very little in common with. And so there is, for many of you that I'm reading for today, a real release of that, a surrender, an understanding that, wait a minute, this pursuit of things that I just need to get rid of all the time, is in and of itself a damage to the environment, a damage to the social world, to the community. This is not helping anyone. This is not helping me. So this is release of the beliefs underneath that. And for the outcome are 8 of cups. It's interesting. There's like a little crab with a teacup over. I think that's a crab. It might be an insect rather. Anyway, it has a teacup as a hat. So this is based on sort of Victorian images. The 9 of Swords. Wow. I think that we've all experienced a lot of damage, oppression, suffering, pain in ways that are tangible for each of us. This is, to me, sort of traumas in the broadest sense, injustices, oppression, things that we don't have control over, but we live within and we suffer. But countering that is this way in which we go on that inner journey, that healing process that allows us to figure out what value we have as individuals. Pursuing things that support us, not the things that we are being asked to support, but things that support us back. Ways in which, relationships in which you are seen, appreciated, given to, acknowledged, recognized. And that is the continuous process that we build as almost a practice of magic, I like to call it, everyday magic, mundane magic, this constant transformation of old desires, old relationships, old patterns, old emotions, with a focus on not what we've experienced, particularly the hardship and loss, but on the way we want to feel. We want to be loved, supported, acknowledged, generous. We want to help others. We want to serve others and come from a place of our own fullness. That's an act we do every day. That is the magic act of our lives. And this is really a beautiful ending to a reading for you. I'm just going to pull a flower oracle. And I've pulled the Peruvian lily. And the key word is strength. More effort will get you what you want. And that effort specifically not being moving yourself with armor and determination towards something that you imagine in a fixed way, or a way that compares with celebrities or others who you don't know, what the media is telling you success looks like. This instead is about the effort to heal your life in ways that give you more, real abundance, real joy, real gratitude, real pleasure in the world. That's where the strength is required, rejecting the status quo and figuring out what works for you and ways in which you can participate in an abundant world. So thank you so much for this reading, collective. If you've enjoyed it, please like this video, subscribe to my channel. I love your comments. Until next time, namaste.